Yeah, what up, my people? It's your boy, Radical. Now, I'm coming at y'all with another video. This is pretty much a response to Tariq Nasheed's live stream that he had the other day, and also a somewhat of a response to O'Shea Duke Jackson's also response to what John Leguizamo is basically saying. Let me just play what John is saying, and people are coming at him because of it. Let me just play what he's saying, and then I'm gonna come back at you with a response. All right, here we go.
Well, I mean, Latin people, we're the largest ethnic group in America, the oldest ethnic group. We built this country. We suffered in this country. We were oppressed, and we're thriving. We add $2.8 trillion to the GDP every year. If we were our own country, we'd be the fifth largest economy in the world, bigger than England, bigger than Italy, bigger than Brazil. And that's just in America. So I found Latin excellence all over America, in Chicago, in DC, in Miami, in Puerto Rico, in LA, in New York. And we ate, we danced, and we celebrated, because nobody knows how to enjoy life as good as Latinos.
Okay, cool. So he basically was basically, talking from his, talking out of his chest, you know what I'm saying exactly what he basically is saying. And some of it I agree, some of it I don't. So let me just break it down just a little bit. First of all, when he said we are the oldest ethnic group, he's absolutely correct. Tariq Nasheed basically was saying Latinos are not even 500 years old. So let me just correct that real quick. The inceptions of Latinos actually started when Christopher Columbus came in here, to the Americas, to the Caribbean. His first stop was the Dominican Republic. Let's keep it 1,000. And what did those Spanish people started to do? They started to, get their freak on with the indigenous women, and boom, Latinos were born, right? And that year was 1492. So if you actually see 1492 with this year, we're actually 531 years old as an ethnic group. But we can even go back before that and say that our ancestors were the indigenous people, the Taínos, the Incas, the Aztecs, and so on and so forth of the Americas. So we can actually claim that because we actually have the blood from our ancestors from that. And some of the traditions of our ancestors is actually still alive and was still practiced in Latin America, believe it or not, if you guys want to believe a pseudoscience type of whatever. You know what I'm saying? So Tariq is wrong on that, right? So we actually are more than 500 years old. We're 531. You know what I'm saying? That's one. Number two, when he talked about when that Latinos built this country. Now he's doing the same thing that FBA is doing, that they just say that we built this country and just leaving it like that without actually saying that other people actually contributed to the building of this country. Now, yes, Black Americans had an integral part in building this country, absolutely, right? And economically, they had a very integral part as well. But the thing is, it just didn't begin and end with FBAs. That's not how it went down. It didn't start and ended with black slavery. You know what I'm saying? That's not really what happened. So in reality, if you guys want to take a look at history, slavery ended in 1865. And if we look down in history of Latinos coming into this country, we were coming into this country way before 1865. We were actually already in this country, but it is what it is. So we're just talking about border crossing, right? We were actually officially, we began to come in recorded officially at 1846, the year 1846. But we were already coming here in the boatloads way before that. The reason why is because during the South of the expansion of the West Coast of America, during the expansion of it, United States needed cheap labor. And not only cheap labor, labor, but sometimes free labor. Some of this free labor ended up being either getting paid by food or some rations or whatever the case is, or actually, some money here and there. But that's basically it. The reason why for the free labor is because these Mexicans that were there, during the expansion of the West, were there for agricultural purposes and also for mining. Remember, gold was king, and they just started finding gold all over the Arizona, New Mexico, California, and everything. So there was a huge gold rush. And these huge companies wanted to actually get more cheap labor in there. So white folks couldn't take it. And they just couldn't get black folks from the South and all that other stuff. They couldn't just ship them in there. What's the best best thing? Hey, let's just get a bunch of Mexicans that's already crossing over. They're way more closer. The commute is gonna be way down. Say, hey, might as well just get them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what ended up happening. Now, talking about that we built this country, just saying that as a whim, I disagree, because we just didn't build it ourselves. There was other things and other people and other ethnicities that actually contributed to America. But if some people want to be petty and say, well, we built this country with their chest out and not being historically accurate, then fuck it. We could say the same thing too. We built this country. You know what I'm saying? With our chest out, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But there's one thing that caught my eye and caught my attention. It was by O'Shea Duke Jackson. If you guys don't know who he is, shout out to him. I actually like his content. Just he gives his take on Latinos and his take on what is going on with that type of statement that John Leguizamo said, right, and made. So just let's take a look.
But what you're seeing is the Latino community is not saying, look, Mexicans add $2.8 trillion to the GDP every year. He's saying we built this country. He's talking about Hispanics. He's talking about Mexicans. He's talking about Puerto Ricans. He's talking about Afro-Latinas. And he's completely disregarding African Americans or blacks. He's saying we are the ones that are injured as a minority in this country. And African Americans use the same argument. But the situation is this. All of these people are looking at themselves as one group, the Latino American group. And whatever issues that they have, they're going to all have one block in Brazilian, Portuguese, and that would include even, let's say, some people who are African, Dominican, or whatever. Doesn't matter. We built this country. So we're putting all of these people into one Latino community. And as one Latino community, we're going to come together despite the fact that, hey, we don't like each other that much sometimes, or we have even fought or beefed, whatever, in different gangs and all that, against the rest of these people, the blacks, the whites. We built this country. But look at the play they're calling now. He's behind all that voting block because the Latino block is the biggest minority. We're not anymore. They're saying we are the fifth largest economy. We've seen J-Lo do the same thing. Jennifer Lopez used to almost claim black. Now she's back claiming Latino. Why? Because now they got the juice. They have even $1 more trillion than we have in the GDP. But they're trying to unite all their people. He's Hispanic talking like this. She's Puerto Rican talking like this, I believe. And as blacks, we gotta wake up and smell the coffee. Because these other groups are gonna look at us and disregard us for what we have done in America. They're already doing it right now, and they can do it without impunity. Because who's gonna check the Latino community? They're pretty much saying, we dare you to check us. What are you gonna do? We got the power, we got the businesses, we got the support, we got the unity, we're gonna celebrate our people. All you can do is complain about it. That's what he's saying. And we as blacks, this should be a call. Even if you can't get along with everybody, You got to start working with each other. I don't care what you want to call it. If you don't want to work with Africans or whatever, or African Americans, you need to see what the writing on the wall is. Here's what other groups are looking at. They're saying these people, we can use their arguments now and say it's about us. And all you're going to be able to do is tweet about it. But the politicians is going to favor them. Politicians not going to favor blacks anymore. They're going to the biggest voting blocks. They got the numbers. They got the numbers and they got the money. So going back and forth with them on Twitter don't even matter. We got to get back into doing the work, because these people we're gonna keep getting passed up, and they're having more kids than we having. We got to look at what's going on.
Shout out to O'Shea. I completely agree with his point. First of all, let me just say, he's completely right. 100% completely right. Latinos, first of all, for the most part, here in America, we get lumped in together regardless of how we might see each other, whatever the case is. Even though we might live in a bubble, a lot of people don't seem to understand us, especially, the Black American community don't seem to understand us. A lot of people don't know there's a lot of internal beefs in the Latino community, believe it or not, and it's over stupid shit, to be completely honest. These little internal beefs, it's over who speaks better Spanish and who gets a citizen way faster than somebody else. It's idiotic stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, once we come here in America, we get lumped in. We get lumped in together. We get already put into that same box. And it's fine. It is what it is. But this is what Latinos have done. We said, okay, we're going to get lumped in together in the same box, even though we might beef with each other. It is what it is. Let's work together, because guess what? Right now, there's certain states and certain places with certain Latino groups are actually joining in with Asian community groups. Why? For political clout. That's extremely smart. That's not nothing dumb. Extremely smart. Why? Because if Asians are going to get something, guess what it's going to trickle down to? Latinos. And if Latinos are going to get something, guess what it's going to trickle down to? Asians. Asians are going to be talking about Latino issues, and Latinos are going to be talking about Asian issues. You know what I'm saying? That's extremely, extremely smart. Because I understand what certain FBAs were saying back then. No tangibles, no vote. And I understand that. I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, if you're not giving these politicians anything, you know what I'm saying? If you're not giving these politicians at least a promise saying that, okay, we're going to do this if we vote for you, we want this in return, or whatever the case is. If you're not doing that, then you're pretty much having an isolated war. And no one ever won a war isolated. Even countries have allies, believe it or not. North Korea has allies with Russia. Russia has allies in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So even countries that don't get along, they still allies, saying that, yo, I shouldn't be isolated. I shouldn't just be doing this by myself. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what a lot of people, even O'Shea's even talked about. The Latino community is very, very, very strong and very active. Talking about the Latino GDP, believe it or not, the Latino, his buying power is $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion. Guess what the black buying power is? 1.3. Shout out to y'all. But we're 2 points ahead. Is that something to brag about? Not really. But at the end of the day, we're 1.5 trillion. Y'all 1.3. Who is gonna get their voice heard more? The people that's complaining on Twitter and not really doing nothing about it, or the people that actually are putting money behind these politicians and hooking up with other groups that got their foot in the door and saying, hey, we want our message heard? You know what I'm saying? O'Shea is 100% right about this, and I agree with him. I 100% agree with him. He's 100% right. And now, going back to the whole buying power, like, built this country thing again. We didn't do this on our own. You feel me? We didn't do this on our own. But if other people are going to be talking about we built this country and you have no power or political power behind it, you're just basically like a drunk person on the corner with a bullhorn. You know what I'm saying? While people like Latinos talking about we built this country and having political clout behind the scenes, yeah, we're gonna be flexing. You feel me? So we gotta see it for what it is. And I was never against black and brown unity. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why I was so for black and brown. I still am for black and brown unity, even though I'm starting to see it as under like individualistic type of thing. And it's fine. It could be under individualistic type of thing. But for the most part, a lot of people don't seem to understand why blacks and Latinos need to unite. We become a larger majority. You know what I'm saying? A larger majority. Black folks will fight for Latino causes and Latinos will fight for black folks causes. But if a lot of black folks are like, yo, screw yeah, we're on our own. Okay, cool. We'll just hook up with the Asians and get our shit done now. While y'all complain and saying how come nobody's listening to us when y'all say no tangibles, no vote, and y'all will keep on saying that till y'all blue in the face. Because the politicians gonna be like, okay, cool. We got a whole other voting block right now. You know what I'm saying? They're shipping Ukrainians in the boatloads. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, whatever. Anyway, we got a whole voting block coming in right now. So what do y'all care? Who cares about what y'all think? You know what I'm saying? That's what some politicians are saying. We just have to be smart when we play these political games. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what you guys think. You guys agree? Disagree? All that. I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.